What's good, y'all? Welcome back. I gotta be a little quiet. Sorry, it's quiet cookie time. That's besides the point. We're gonna watch a video today. Y'all, we're gonna watch a little reaction because I just wanted to know what happens. What if you fell into Jupiter? Now, you're probably sitting here like, what the balls, Cook? But listen, what if you fell into Jupiter? What if you fell into Jupiter? We can figure it out right now. Right now. Let's see. Not that low.
What you're seeing isn't a watercolor painting in motion. In fact, it's the planet Jupiter. For the most part, this gas giant is a mystery. So what would happen if you wanted to discover it for yourself and jumped right onto the planet? Or should we say into? Because Jupiter doesn't have a surface, just a seemingly endless stretch of atmosphere.
That's kind of
Would
scary.
you fall straight through? What would you see on your way? And how would it make you feel? This is What If. And here's what would happen if you fell into Jupiter.
But
If you attempted to jump into Jupiter wearing a standard spacesuit, it'd be over for you pretty quickly. First of all, you wouldn't even make it to the planet. Roughly 300,000 kilometers from Jupiter, radiation would penetrate your suit and you'd die.
So you're not even making it yet.
But that's a boring
You can't even
what
get
if.
close.
We'll give you a special spacesuit that can survive the fall.
So
For now,
we got the star.
here's where the
Mario.
real fun begins. At first, you'll be falling from the top of the atmosphere at nearly 180,000 kilometers per hour.
This is fun.
That's a lot faster than you'd fall from the top of Earth's atmosphere because Jupiter's gravity is much stronger than Earth's.
How y'all know
You'd
this?
still be able to see the sun, but don't expect it to heat you up. At about 250 kilometers down, you'd reach the ammonia clouds
How
and
do y'all know
experience
this?
temperatures of minus 150 degrees. Now, get ready for the most epic whirlpool of your life. Jupiter's clouds create powerful winds, up to 482 kilometers per hour.
Hell no.
You'd feel as if you were in one giant, colorful tornado. That's because
Who wants to be in? Y'all talking about this some fun. First off, I'd probably die of a heart attack. I'm not even going to Jupiter. What the fuck am I talking about?
Jupiter
But you know,
is
what
the
if
fastest rotating planet in our solar system. One day on the planet is equal to 9.5 Earth hours. Let's go down about 120 kilometers more. Congratulations! This is the deepest that any exploration has ever sailed into the gas giant. In 1995, NASA's Galileo probe made it this far before it was destroyed by the pressure of Jupiter's atmosphere. But don't worry, that's not happening to you. You've got the suit. The further you travel, the darker it will get, until it's completely pitch black. The only source of light you'll have will be from the lightning storms happening all around you.
So I'm not getting struck by one thing of lightning. So now we're still going.
At this point, the temperature will start to increase, and it might even feel comfortable if it weren't for the immense physical pressure you'll be feeling. The pressure you'd experience is more than 1,000 times higher than on the surface of the Earth.
That's great.
The only way you'll be able to survive is if your spacesuit was built as strong as the deepest diving submarine of all time.
Great.
By now, you've been falling for 12 hours, and let's be honest, you're getting a little bored.
What?
You'd probably want to radio someone to come and get you.
It's
Well,
clipped.
that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's an impossibility inside Jupiter, since radio waves get absorbed this deep into the planet's
So you're telling me
atmosphere.
I'm screwed.
You'll just have to keep falling.
All right.
The temperature will keep rising.
Until I just poof
and
out.
so will the pressure.
Okay.
As you reach the inner layers of Jupiter, there'll be parts that you'll be able to swim through. A substance that's not quite liquid or gas, known as supercritical fluid. Moving through this strange material, the temperature will get even hotter. Eventually, it will be equivalent to the surface of the sun. If
What?
that isn't enough, you'll also be experiencing pressure equal to 2 million times the pressure.
So I'm
on
mad uncomfortable this whole time.
Metallic hydrogen will begin to form, and you'll be surrounded by it. This relatively unknown substance can be a dense liquid that you won't be able to escape from. If you do manage to escape,
So
you'd be
this-
falling through it for thousands of kilometers
Jesus
until you reach Jupiter's core,
Oh, and it's close.
possibly a solid object. Some scientists predict it is, due to the immense pressure at this level in the planet. Regardless of what it is, if you somehow did manage to survive all this, you'd be stuck on it from all the atmospheric pressure. Not a very rewarding trip. Maybe we should leave the planet as a beautiful mystery. But if you do ever manage to fall to Jupiter and get stuck, let's hope you have a few more what-if videos to keep you company.
We're gonna watch 2 videos, y'all. We're gonna watch 2 videos to make it a little spicy. But basically, what they're saying is, don't go to Jupiter. Don't fall in Jupiter. It's not a what if. Do not fall into Jupiter. Because that sounded like the most uncomfortable. On to the next. What if we lost oxygen in the world for 5 seconds?
Imagine if all the Earth's oxygen disappeared.
5
Not
seconds.
forever. Just for, say, 5 seconds.
What's going on,
Would
sir?
we just hold our breath?
Yeah.
What would happen to the atmosphere?
Sure.
What would happen to the environment?
That's a good
This
question.
is what if. And here's what would happen if the world lost oxygen for just 5 seconds.
You clip, huh?
Take a nice deep breath. Feel how satisfying that is?
Yeah.
What you're breathing in is oxygen. That takes up roughly 21% of our atmosphere, with 78% being nitrogen.
That's bad.
Although it's not the most abundant gas in our atmosphere, it is the most important. Without oxygen, plants, animals, water, and us humans wouldn't be where we are today.
For that.
5 seconds may not sound like a whole lot of time to be without oxygen. Most of us can go at least 30 seconds without taking a breath, so it would happen too fast for your body to even notice. Your breathing would actually remain normal, but as for everything else, not so much.
What you
In
mean?
just 5 seconds, the Earth would look completely different.
What?
Without oxygen, you could say goodbye to the Hoover Dam, the Pantheon Dome, and anything else made of concrete. These structures would instantly collapse.
I think I know why.
Oxygen acts as a special binding agent.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's
Without
probably
it, concrete is just dust.
Yeah, that
Speaking
makes
of
sense.
buildings, any untreated metal would instantly be fused together.
What?
This is because there's a layer of oxidation on metals that prevents them from welding together. Without that layer, metals would instantly bind to each other. If you happen to be relaxing at the beach at the time, expect a severe sunburn.
What the hell?
The ozone layer, our protection against the sun's UV rays, is made of oxygen. Take away the oxygen and the Earth would become extremely dangerous.
Wow.
There would be nothing protecting us from the sun's UV rays. In addition to a sunburn, our inner ear would explode. Losing oxygen means losing 21% of our air pressure. A change in air pressure that drastic is equivalent to being at sea level and dropping down 2,000 meters instantly. Our ears wouldn't have enough time to adapt. Having a good time yet? Well, don't expect it to last long. Without oxygen, there's no fire. The combustion process in vehicles wouldn't be able to occur.
That's terrible.
Any mode of transport that isn't electric will automatically fail.
Oh,
Planes
Elon
will
Musk
fall
did.
from the sky, and millions of cars will be stopped in their tracks.
Except
the sky will be
Teslas.
completely dark. Before it hits the Earth,
What?
light from the sun bounces off multiple particles in the air. Without oxygen in the atmosphere, there are less things to bounce off, and the sky will appear dark. Oh yeah, and while all this is happening, the Earth's crust would completely crumble.
Yo, what
That's
the
because Earth's crust is made up of 45% oxygen. The crust would crumble and continue to crumble until there's nothing left,
The world's gonna basically get. That's what they're telling us.
sending you and everyone on the planet into a free fall.
Oh
Sound
crap!
like fun? Probably not. But luckily, you can take a deep breath of 21% oxygen, knowing this will never happen. For more things that are fun to speculate on, keep checking back with What If.
We're gonna watch one more, cause that was If that were to ever happen, just for that 5 seconds, it's clip. It's clip. I'm gonna find one more.
If time travel is possible, why haven't we met a single time traveler yet? And if we did meet one, how would we know they weren't faking it? What would their time machine look like? And how would it operate? Would there be a set of rules for time travelers to follow? And what would happen if they decided to break them? This is What If, and here's what would happen if you met a time traveler. In 1998, a gentleman by the name of John Titor arrived from the future, or so he said. In his timeline, as he claimed, General Electric had managed to invent time travel in the year 2034.
There's no way.
He even showed and
Just in, like,
described his
15
time
years.
traveling device in great detail.
14 years. That's
And then
ridiculous.
Titor vanished as
Titor
abruptly
vanished.
as he appeared. Did he finish his mission? Or was he real at all? How could we know? If we were able to prove that someone has traveled from a different time, it would be very cool for science. Although it might overwrite Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Einstein approached time as a fourth dimension. Space is a three-dimensional spectrum that provides us with length, width, and height. Time offers direction. Together, they form a space-time continuum, and it can be affected by gravity. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, gravity is a curve in space-time. And technically, because space and time are one, gravity could bend time as well as space. But you'd need something really, really big to notice any changes in the movement of time. If you somehow managed to get yourself close to a black hole like Sagittarius A, you'd be experiencing time at half speed compared to people on Earth. This is because Sagittarius A packs a mass of 4 million suns into an indefinitely dense point, creating a very strong gravitational field around it. Another way to travel in time is to move really fast. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time passes for you.
The fuck?
If you were a passenger on a train that somehow could travel at 99% of the speed of light, for every year you spent on the train, 223 years would have passed back at the station.
Jesus.
That would make you a time traveler into the future. But what about traveling back in time, just like John Titor said he did? Titor claimed that this little machine is what made time travel possible in any direction.
Yo, is that what, yo,
The
I really think about
C204, as he called
time
it,
travel?
allowed him to manipulate
oh
gravity
my
with the help
God.
of two microsingularities that were packed inside.
It's scary for me. It's like
It
I don't
also
want to
had
fucking
gravity
just,
center.
what I don't want to do is go into a time machine and then vanish and then I'm clipped and then I'm just in a dark space until I damn starve to death and
to lock the machine and time traveler in a fixed
starve.
place.
I'll probably be a fucking atom and then clipped. I don't
space.
even remember this. I don't know about that.
Titor had this machine
I'm just gonna-
installed in a car, pretty much like the good old time-traveling DeLorean did. But it would only take him as far as 60 years from his time. How would you know that Titor was actually traveling in time and not just making it up? Proving that someone really is a time traveler might be even harder than time travel itself. Time travelers could make predictions about the future, show their futuristic technology, or even undergo some genetic testing to support their story. Maybe the best way to prove time travel is real would be to take you with them on their next adventure. Of course, there are easier ways to prove the possibility of time travel. In 2009, the world-famous theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking threw a party. Not just any party, but one to which only future time travelers were invited.
So he
Hawking
got it like
didn't
that?
send off invitations until after the party. He believed that if travelers from the future arrived before the invitation was released, that would prove that time travel will become possible one day. He sat there, waiting for hours, but nobody showed up.
Okay.
That doesn't mean time travel is impossible. There is a chance that time travelers from the future will learn to use wormholes or bridges in space-time. We haven't seen one of those yet, but the theory of general relativity predicts that they exist. The biggest problem with wormholes
Steve Hawkins
is
is
that
gonna
they're
go for that.
microscopic and collapse too quickly for a human traveler to go through. But maybe the reason nobody attended Hawking's party
He's
is
dumb
that
tight.
time traveling might not be that precise.
What do you
Maybe
mean,
the
though?
guests from the future did arrive, but they were too late for the party. Or maybe going back in time is strictly prohibited for time travelers. Because if they do, they might change their timeline completely. Perhaps they're just trying to avoid the risk of spreading any
Honestly,
diseases from the far future.
If anybody
onto
wants
us.
to time travel with me, it gotta be me and like my boy. And if we go, I want to run into my older self, get some knowledge, get some prior knowledge on what I should do. You can't. By the way, if you're time traveling, this is to all my time travelers out there for trying to. If you're figuring out a way, I'll come along if it's actually like 100% accurate. But if you're time traveling and you get into the future, you never want anybody to see you. And you're like, how the fuck does that even work? Because what if I spawn into the middle of da-da-da? Well, you can have somebody see you, but it's people that don't know you. So, like, for example, if my friend, imagine me time traveling to 10 years in the future, right? And I'm this age now, and I'm going into that realm, and my friend from 10 years ago that knows me, that's older, 10 years older now, sees me in this body, they're instantly gonna know, and that's what you can't do, because then they're gonna be like, honestly, they're gonna be like that, and you're gonna be screwed. But you can probably go to yourself. I'm saying you can go to yourself because I know I would do something like this. But I highly doubt that it's gonna happen. But if I do go time traveling, you'll see, you'll know. But I'm actually not gonna tell anybody. So I do. You wouldn't even know. What if I did already? You don't even know.
Plus, or maybe the information about time traveling is so highly classified that only a few people would be trusted with it. Maybe traveling back into time isn't possible after all. Maybe time can only move forward and never backwards. Maybe John Titor was one big lie. We have a few more years until 2034 to find out.
15.
In a way, we already
16.
have time travelers
14,
in our lifetime. Astronauts on the International Space Station are moving at 8 kilometers per second. This makes them age slower, although the difference is measured in hundredths of a second. But if you're listening, you're invited to a reception for time travelers, hosted by Stephen Hawking.
But
The party will take place at the University of Cambridge, United Kingdom, on June 28th, 2009. No RSVP required. And hey, if you have a chance to jump in a spaceship and enjoy the time-traveling effects of a black hole, do it. Just make sure not to fall into that gravitational monster.
honestly, I don't want to go in no black holes if I had.
For another what if.
I'm good about falling on into black holes. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not with that. Well, what have we learned today? That's for another one. Well, what have we learned today? Not to fall into black holes. No, that's beside the point. Time travel. Not to fall into Jupiter. Jesus Christ. Not to fall into Jupiter. Hold up, let me. There you go. Don't mind. Nope, nope. Nope, I just want you guys to see me. No, I just want you guys to see me. There we go. Not to fall inside of Jupiter, because Jupiter, you can't even get that close unless you have the Mario suit yourself. So, it's kind of cryptic after that. It's clip. Not to fall into Jupiter, losing gravity for 5 seconds. I thought that was the craziest shit in the world, because it's like one boom, everything's collapsing. It's just like, imagine like we just lost gravity for 5 seconds and then you just hear mad just collapsing. I'd be like, oh well, instantly if I ever heard that, like, oh, what if watch time traveling. Honestly, if I ever come upon a time traveler, I hope he tells me what happens. I'm like, you know who Clea is? Me? What have I done? What have I done to save the world? Where am I at in life? Please let me know. Thanks, appreciate it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just a little calm day, because it's Sunday. So yeah, you already know the vibes. I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow. VLOGMAS day 5. No, 6. Peace out.